Hey, hi there, guys. Good morning. Warren here. So, today I'm going to ask you to bear with me because I'm going to talk about inconsiderate, selfish people. But the reason I'm asking you to bear with me, it's because it's a first world problem that I'm dealing with, but it's still a problem. But considering everything else that's going on in the world, it is in fact a first world problem, and that is pet owners, specifically in this case and in this conversation, this chat, maybe even consider a rant, specifically dog owners. And just for some context, some of you might have seen our pup in some of the videos. I have a golden retriever mix with Australian Shepherd, 75% golden and 25% Shepherd. Beautiful, beautiful animal, as you saw in the intro. And I some of you might even switch the channel when I say this, but her and my wife are probably the most important things. People, living beings to me. And you're like, what about your extended families? And that's for another conversation. And the reason I say that, and I'm looking at her, she's in the yard actually. The reason I say that is because our relationships are not transactional. Maybe conditional, depend on circumstances, but definitely not transactional. I would say more so very mutual. And so I don't put a label on her as a service dog, but emotionally she means the world to me. That said, in another state, she was attacked while my wife was walking her. I was away on an exercise, working an exercise, and they were attacked. And here is the irony of the whole thing. The owner admitted this. This dog that attacked her was allegedly in training to be a service dog. You heard right. Anyway, I think both, well, I don't think, I know that they both have PTSD from the incident. I know. I see it on walks now because she'll freeze if the dogs are dark colored, because the dog that attacked her was a black dog. So dark colored dogs, she'll just freeze and not want to go forward unless she's met them before and known them or know them. And then if there is a dog that is off leash and my wife is with me on the walk, she just... Anyway, let me get to the issue of my rant. Where I live currently, the law states that your dog, not should, not if you think your dog is trained, not if you think your dog is the best thing since sliced bread. The law states that your dog must be on a leash no longer than 6 feet when off your property. When off of your property. Now, that said, I've run into people on those extractor leashes that have their dog fully extracted and you're walking yours and they will not retract their dogs. And you will look at them and ask them kindly to do so. And the retort is always, my dog is trained. I don't care. So is mine. But the law doesn't say if your dog is trained. It says on a leash, no more than 6 feet, when off your property. It also says owners are responsible for control of your pet. That's off and on your property. Which means also the law also says they cannot roam off of your property uncontrolled. Not if your dog is trained, not if your dog is special. This is the law, and it protects both you and your dog and my dog. In addition to the attack in the other state, I now carry a stick. I do. For dogs that are roaming and will run up on us. And there are no owners, and sometimes there are. And again, their retort is, oh, I'm sorry, but they're fine, they're trained. I don't care. The law says on a leash or controlled on your property. And oh, by the way, you are liable for any damages, death caused by your dog. 3 places she was bitten, and my wife. But this dog was in training, off leash. Here's the thing that bugs me about that, and I'm going to get to the really unselfish stuff about dog owners here where I live anyway. They're unpredictable, even if trained. Racehorses are trained. But if you haven't seen it, after watching this, you can go look. Any noise will cause them to bolt if they feel like it, if they just so happen to be spooked, although they are trained to go off of the bell in the stall. Any other sound will spook them, and they will bolt, injuring riders, other people, themselves, because they're an animal. Even if trained, they're unpredictable. We're humans, top of the food chain and allegedly above all other animals, and we are unpredictable. I told you it was a rant, and if you're still with me, I appreciate it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then the part I want to talk about, especially with the unpredictability, is the other part of my rant, and then I'll wrap it up. You can train your dog to pee and poop for the most part. You can do that, because ours is. She refuses to poop in the yard, this bigger yard as it is. She just won't, because ever since she was a puppy, she would be introduced outside when we could. But she's also just, I said, self-regulated herself to where she will not poop in the yard. I think she's done it 2 or 3 times, and that's probably because she just misread herself or probably had an upset stomach. But she will not do it. She'll pee, but she will not poop. My point is, they're going to do it where they want, or at least attempt to, and then if you see it, you can drag them along so they don't do it, right? These same people with their dogs that are not on leashes and are uncontrolled outside of their property, all I see in these yards are these little signs: no pee, no poop, be respectful. You heard right. Be respectful. And I agree, if your dog poops in their property, in that 10 feet of easement that most cities give you from your house to the street, the sidewalk. If your dog does, and we do, we have our little bag holder on our leash, And if your dog does, be respectful and pick it up. Indeed. But here's the irony to your sign. What about your dog that is off leash and off your property being a nuisance? Be respectful. Goes both ways. Because I'm with you with the poop on your property. Again, even though the animals are unpredictable and may have to just go, I hope the owner picks it up. And if they don't have a bag, be courteous and respectful and maybe ask you for one just to show that, hey, I'm being a responsible pet owner and picking up my dog's poop. But it goes both ways. Told you it was a rant. First world problem. But why do we have to be so selfish and inconsiderate of each other? And then if I say any of what I just said, like, hey, the law doesn't say if your dog is trained, I get looked at as if I'm growing horns out of my head. And all I'm doing is just following the law. Again, for my safety and my dog's safety and your dog's safety and my dog's safety and the driver that is probably coming down the road's safety of not having to slam on it to save my dog that is out of control. Which brings me to an example I just saw the other day. A guy running with his dog off leash. I didn't even see the leash anywhere, and he's running, and the dog is clearly not very well trained, and it is way ahead of him, just running up to people, running out to other directions, and he's yelling for it. I can't make this stuff up. Let's just really be respectful of each other. It's really very simple, right? Some laws we don't have to necessarily agree with, like if you can afford to. And there's so many nuances to some of the things I ranted about. I get it. There are nuances to everything, right? Shades of gray, black, white. In the middle is so many different shades, right? The kaleidoscope of life. So I get that. But you don't have to agree with a law. And if you can afford to, like some folks who really truly love animals and have property and it's zoned, by all means, let them roam. I believe in that. Like when she's here, she's outside and she roams in the yard, controlled. But just to not have the headache. I'm being choked off by the mosquito coil. But it's doing its job. But to just not have the headache and deal with the liabilities because, oh, by the way, the law says if you are found guilty, you can be held liable. And if the person wants to take it even further than that, you could be looking at serious liabilities. Monies you probably don't have. Time you probably don't have. Because you just simply believe my pet is the greatest thing and it doesn't hurt anyone and it's friendly. And that's all good. Put it on a leash. Ask me permission to approach my dog with yours. That's another thing. My dog's friendly and they just walk up and it's like, no, I don't know your dog. I don't know you. How about, hey, can they say hello? And you can usually tell that, that friendly interaction, the dogs are already, but ask. All right, don't assume. Just adhere to your signs. All right, be respectful. It goes both ways. Be considerate. Be mindful of things that others are going through. I mean, I don't have to tell you my dog has PTSD from a prior attack. I don't have to. But if there is an incident, I'm going to have to share that. Not that it's an issue to share it, but I don't know you. I don't have the time. I don't necessarily want to. We don't have to go that far because it shouldn't get that far. Anyway, I'm done. It's actually a beautiful morning, and I'm grateful. for the beautiful morning. And my pup that I can see off camera that's walking around in the yard. I'm grateful. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just do your part. Our pets mean a lot to us, no matter what kind of pets. They mean a lot to us. I mean, the wild birds in my avocado tree means a lot to me, and they're wild. I put out some feed to help them with eating without spoiling them too much too, and having them become dependent. But you've seen them, if you're not new to the channel, on the Life's Serenade videos. But I'm grateful for those little things too. And grateful for the dog owners. It's just do your part. Do your part. Works both ways. All right? So you guys have a good day out there. And until our next conversation, be good out there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. I'll see you. What is it, Mama? Lizards? I know. There should be. There should be. Bob's out. Oof. Bright, too.